wedding planning podcast.
Will a magician make our reception magical, or will our guests just want to disappear?
Does including a petting zoo really add a wedding wow factor, or is it just an unnecessary poo-on-shoe addition?
What can we DIY that provides entertainment for our guests but doesn't destroy our budget?
We're talking Speciality Suppliers, from illustrators and singing waiters to tricksters, mixers and choreographers.
So, Vicky, why? Why are people looking for something so unique for their big day?
Don't know, tell me.
Well, I suppose everyone's different, aren't they? But I think really people want that point of difference. They want to add something for their guests. And the Hitch National Wedding Survey results showed that 79% of couples said their guests' happiness was the most important part of wedding planning. Now, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that is... absolutely, I'll still always go back to it's your day, you do it your way. But why wouldn't you want your guests to have fun?
Well, exactly. I mean, you're inviting them, they're making the effort. You want everybody, your guests, you, the whole shebang, to have a lovely time.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm one of those people who loves a surprise, and I think I might be a bit rare in that. Do you love a surprise?
Not exclusively, no.
No, see,
I'm a
do.
control freak. I like to know what's coming, what's happening, when it's happening.
Well, I think I am also a bit of a control freak, but if someone has thought about something I would love and tried to do a surprise, that means a lot to me.
I think in context of somebody's wedding, if I went and there were a sort of surprise kind of something that I wasn't expecting from a wedding, that would make me very happy. I guess I don't like surprises if they're directly affecting me, but I think for a wedding, it would be great.
I think I just like surprises overall. But I've got a couple coming up this year who are doing a surprise for their guests. And I'm not going to say who they are, just in case someone's listening. But they've got this... I actually can't remember what they're called, but they've got this band coming in. And the band play like a few songs on the stage. Then every table by table, goes off with the band and rehearses a song and comes back and performs it.
Different songs?
Each table. So there are 8 tables, and then they come back and 8 of them perform their songs. Now, some people will listen to this and go, oh
not
my
for
God,
me.
not for me. Absolutely fine. They're like, do you know what? If it's not for you, don't come along. Or if you want to just tambourine in the background, you can tambourine. But the ones that want to get to be front and centre with this professional live band. So the only thing I'd say about that is logistically, the time that takes for them all to go off, learn a song, and also the space they need, because each group has to go somewhere different. But what a surprise. Their guests are going to be like, what? And you're never going to forget that.
No, you will always remember that particular wedding.
So I think if your budget stretches to it, adding something special, a bit of a surprise can be really brilliant. But you have got to consider bits before you do that. So like I just said, some of those logistics, like your venue. Yeah. So if you've got something your heart is really set on, does it work in your venue or not? So if kind of you're looking for the alpacas or...
Oh, the donkey visits.
Yeah, and animals at your wedding, is your venue going to accommodate that? So that's a really big... If that is something you absolutely want... And actually, I think if that's something you absolutely want, you're probably going to choose a venue that is more outdoorsy, that is more animal friendly. But you need to ask those questions. And just, the space...
Well, and I suppose even though something is outdoors, you know, if you're choosing a stately home or something with a beautiful garden, their beautiful garden may not welcome hoof prints all over it.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair play.
So I think you have got to think about your venue and whether it works for you. But the other thing is the timelines. Like I was saying about this band that the couple are going for. That is a big chunk of time.
Yeah, sure.
And I've got another couple this year who are having drag bingo as part of their day.
Love that.
And they've got this wicked drag artist coming along doing drag bingo. But in order to fit that in, everything has to move around it. And how do you, again, that's a surprise, how do you get your guests to get into that space, get ready for it? It takes setting up time. Like if you're going to do a drag bingo, the drag artist needs to come in, introduce themselves, do all that. They've got to make sure you've all got dabbers, you've all got a bingo sheet, you know, all of those things. So you have got to think about your timelines. But if you're working with a planner or an on-the-day coordinator, that is exactly what we're here to do. So speaking early on about your hopes, your dreams, how that's going to work, and then we can give you a realistic idea about how that can fit in.
So not helpful to suddenly announce it the week before the wedding. Oh, by the way, we've got drag bingo. It's going to be great. So when should we do that, Keshira?
I mean, anything you're announcing to your planner a week before the wedding is a bit scary. But yeah, I think bring it in early doors. Let's see how it can work, budget, timeline, venue, and yeah, I think budget is the other
big one,
key component. Do you want to talk about the cabinet?
Well, no, because just when we talk about budget for those sort of magical suppliers, I always remember that scene in Gavin and Stacey when they're at the wedding fair and Smithy gets completely seduced by this crazy stag night in somewhere bonkers, and Uncle Bryn is just totally sold on this magician, but they don't talk to any of the other wedding parties. They just go ahead and book it. So it is always, what seems like a brilliant idea in the moment, I think, is just give yourself a little thinking time. Go away, give your head a wobble. Does it work with all those things you've already talked about, like logistics and stuff?
Yeah. And I think your priority with your wedding is always going to need to be your venue, your food, your photography, and then and flowers as well. I mean, I could keep going on, but if it's something that is absolutely integral to your day, absolutely get it up there first, but put a realistic budget in there. Yeah. If it's something that you're like, that would be a nice to have, get those key suppliers booked first, and then look at it and see what's going to work.
And don't go to a wedding fair, for instance, and see a stripper who does an act with a python and the bucket of dream topping and go, I'm booking that now and pay for it now, because you might find you're not going to get
you don't want the stripper with the python?
No, I actually, no, I've said it. I think that would be hugely entertaining.
Yeah, I mean...
But what I mean is, you just take your time. Don't sort of commit to something on the spot at a wedding fair.
Ever.
Just take some thinking time.
But I think ever with any supplier, don't commit at a wedding fair.
Take details, take numbers and all that sort of thing, but don't actually, if certainly if you're put under pressure, my python needs feeding, sign now. Just they're probably not the speciality act.
In your python needing feeding, Vicky. I love it.
I did not intend any innuendo. I just made that absolutely clear. But I think that sort of brings us on to the sort of something for everyone. It is, I think, really difficult to please all of the people all of the time, whether it's a wedding or any other event, really. So I suppose, and you will know this better as a planner, going too niche, you've got to be really sure of your audience. You've got to be very sure of your guests, haven't you?
You have got to be very sure of your guests. And I'm a bit on the fence on this one, because not only have you got to be sure of your guests, but you've got to be sure of what you want. And if it's something you really want, as long as it's not going to cause a massive fight or family feud, but I don't know. I do find this tricky, because I do have couples that choose to do something. They're like, my parents are going to hate this. And they do, but because they love it. And we talk quite often about how parents can sometimes get in the way of what couples would like on their day. So the ones that go, actually, it's my day, I'm going to do it. Yeah, kudos to you. Go
absolutely.
for it. But I don't know, I'm really torn.
It's tricky. It is tricky, but I guess it's that sort of thing of booking a bespoke comic to do a sort of cheeky routine based on the info that you've provided about your family. It might sound like that could be a riot in a really fun way, but actually, do you really want Granny and the kids hearing words that they probably wouldn't appreciate? And I think that's that thing, that guest experience is important.
Yes.
And if it's going to make guests uncomfortable, just go into it with a clear head. If you're going to ask for something like that and you work with someone to produce that, just perhaps be a little bit sensitive around the audience.
Yeah, I think you've always got to keep people in mind, haven't you? You never want to make someone uncomfortable. That's a really yucky thing. But at the same time, best men's speeches quite often make people uncomfortable. So maybe get rid of that and go with the entertainer that knows their job. So that might be safer.
Back to the stripper and the python.
You never want to make anyone uncomfortable, really.
No.
So just having a bit of heart and humility and just kind of thinking, how does this work?
Yeah. Fair enough. And I guess that also brings us on to popular trends. And, well, I think let's talk about those that are currently really hot. And it seems to me from the weddings that I've done the last sort of 18 months or so, illustrators are huge.
Absolutely. And I love them. I've got my background back to like university days is in fashion styling. And the illustrators that draw in have a fashion background. A lot of them do, and they come from that. And I think their drawings, their paintings, their work is stunning. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep a piece of artwork. And then there's the illustrators that do it in a more cartoony, more fun way. There's so many different, but I think illustrators is something that your guests appreciate. You've got something to keep forever. I am a big fan.
Me too. I really love that. And exactly that. Yes, you're paying for sort of entertainment, but you've also got something tangible at the end of it, which is a lovely sort of memento and keepsake.
I had a couple that didn't have an illustrator, but they had a wedding painter, and the artist stood at the back of the aisle for the ceremony and painted their ceremony. So it was one big thing for them, not for their guests.
No.
But they got to take home a canvas painted, bespoke, painted on the spot.
They're
piece
so
of
clever.
art.
They are
Amazing.
so clever. When you sit and watch them work, it's just like, I'm envious of anyone with that kind of artistic talent. But
So am I. And I really hope illustrators isn't a trend. I hope they are here to stay, because I think it's a really lovely addition.
Absolutely. And then you got things like singing waiters.
Yeah.
Still hot.
I've not yet had a wedding with singing waiters, but I do have one coming up next year.
Oh, lovely.
And actually, the people that we've booked for that are people that have done quite a few, they're actors. They are not a singing waiters business. They're actual actors who they've done quite a few gigs for me, and it's fun, but it is one of those additional expenses, and how you really need to speak to your caterer.
Yes, of course.
If you're adding singing waiters, you need to speak to your bar and catering team and work out how is that going to work.
I suppose that's a real logistics thing, isn't it?
But I'm intrigued to see. I've not seen it done yet, so I'm intrigued to see.
But as I say, still hot trot.
Yeah.
And then we've already said, drag acts. Again, disguised as guests. I've had one where a drag act was disguised as a guest.
I love
at
that.
a hotel, and just sort of pretended to be staying at the hotel and came down the stairs being thoroughly flamboyant and purported to be a wedding crasher.
Yeah,
but everybody was kind of like, what is going on? Yeah. And then, of course, when the song started and it became apparent, it was just lovely. Everybody was sort of like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
And I think things like axe throwing, and I've got a wedding that they're doing whittling, like spoon whittling and things. They've got someone doing a demonstration because their venue, that's what they do there.
Yeah.
So actually, look at your venue. Why have you booked your venue? If you've booked your venue because it is a space where a certain craft is happening, and that's what they're famous for, then why not utilise that and make that part of your day? So I think, axe throwing, obviously there's a bit of danger, but...
and then still, I think close-up magicians, that sort of thing can be, is still... popular, particularly during the meal, and when people are seated but you want something while different tables are served, that can be a really just sort of way to keep people's attention and to stop them being bored, actually.
Yeah, totally.
If your service is going to take a while.
I think with magicians, people get a bit nervous about, is that magician any good? Google reviews.
Yeah.
Read them, because that is how you're going to know if that magician fits.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've still got things like we've touched on. Animal visits, still very popular. Glitter bars. And then you've got all the kind of like garden games, the crazy golf courses, what do you call it, giant Jenga, that connect fire breathers, or even I have done one wedding where they had tumblers,
amazing,
which was, and I was a bit sort of on the fence about it, but actually visually it was stunning.
Wildly Wed, the real wedding planning podcast.
We've talked about lots of things, but there are some things that I think are really getting more and more popular. And one of them is something I quite love. And I don't know why I love it, because I've never had one of these before.
Oh, you're intriguing me now.
Tattooists.
Tattooists, yeah.
I find that so exciting, and I have never had a tattoo.
Nor me, tattoo virgin.
Would I get a tattoo at a wedding? Probably not. But there's gonna be a guest that will. And if you as a couple love tattoos, then having a wedding tattoo, I don't know. I like it.
I do too. I think it's very different. And it wasn't one of my weddings, but I know a celebrant who attended a wedding where Grandma, 96, had her first bit of ink. Isn't that right?
Yeah, no, I'm totally up for the tattoo artist, and I am seeing that become more of a thing. I think it's still quite niche.
Yeah. And quite expensive, actually. I think, in fairness, it is quite expensive.
But I am a secret fan of a tattoo.
Of the holy patrimony, yeah. Go for it.
And I think, there's a lot of things that I've had actually quite a lot of weddings that have done Kayleys.
Yeah, I know. I love that. That's good fun.
I don't know whether Kayleys have always been as popular as I'm seeing them be now, but last year I must have had 4.
I think there's been a definite resurgence, I think, in the Kaylee.
And a lot of that's been to do with people's heritage.
Yeah, and that's always lovely. That's a real celebration.
Joining heritage as well, when they're both from different places, having a bit of each of their heritage, and the Kayleys seem to be a really popular part of that. So, and I really also like, if you're thinking, actually, all of this is totally out of my budget, I've had quite a few weddings where their friends, family have written a song, written a poem, performed for their guests. Now, for some people that might feel a bit ick-inducing and a bit scary, or you might not be that sentimental, but I had a groom last year, and him and his dad sat and they sang a song together. They played the song on the guitar. All the guests gathered round. The band played behind them and it was just beautiful. It was so personal, and they'd learnt the song together, and him and his dad he'd grown up. His dad taught him the guitar. It was such a part of their story, and I think that was a really nice idea. So if budget is an issue, what have you got around you?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's, like I've seen instances where families have done choreography to something. They've literally just lip synced, but done an amazing bit of choreo to a dance number, and come on, full costumes, very committed.
Yeah, I had that last year.
Which is great.
I had a couple, and they had their rainbow girls, which were essentially their bridesmaids, but they had this big group. They had so many of them, they didn't want to choose, and they just told them all to wear a different colour. They choreographed a first dance with their rainbow girls, and there must have been 20 to 30 of them, and it was hilarious and brilliant. So, things that are a bit more budget friendly, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I did a wedding last year, the year before, and again, talk about tapping into what you've got. This was quite a theatrical couple.
Okay.
So they were well connected to acts that could do something. And they actually put on a mini show in the afternoon, in that lull between the speeches and the evening. They got married quite early in the day, so they always knew there would be a little bit of a gap that needed filling. And they just called in favours and put on a little show. They had a ventriloquist, they had a comedian, they had a couple of songs. It was
again, unique. Like, super unique. People aren't going to forget that, are they?
Yeah.
Kids, how do you do things for kids and with kids? Well, I did it at my wedding where, do you know the old, and I think I might have spoken about this before, the old school tea towels?
Oh yeah, well, you used to write and draw a picture on.
All the kids used to draw their own face. Well, at our wedding, because our wedding invite was actually a school tea towel, we'd done our close family for that. At our wedding, we put on the table scraps of square bits of paper for all the kids and adults to draw their face and write their name. So then afterwards, we had all of those pictures made into a tea towel.
Ah, that's gorgeous.
It really didn't cost much. The kids got to draw and draw and draw, and there was all sorts of funny things. Later in the night, we removed some of it because the adults got a bit...
interesting pictures?
Yeah, a few of those. We didn't include those in the tea towel, but, another budget-friendly way that you can do that, just hanging those up, having them there, and having them part of your life later.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that sort of thing, I think, is just, or, even if you create a little mini gallery. I think I went to one wedding where they gave kids pictures, just bits of paper, and they had a washing line strung up, and people literally just sort of took their painting and went and hung it on the washing line. And it was a bit like being at an exhibition, because people were walking walking around with drinks, sort of going, oh, that's very good. Gosh, is Jack only 8? That's ever so good for age. It's just, But you can take that, if you're looking for budget-friendly ideas, you don't have to go down the very expensive photo booth route. If you want something like that, just put a dressing up box there and either some disposable cameras or just let people snap away on their phones.
I'd say if budget is the issue, disposable cameras probably aren't the right thing for you because they aren't cheap and
no, they're not,
you
actually.
don't know the quality that you're going to get on a disposable. With Instax Instant One, you can see whether the photos are coming out, but they are quite expensive. So create a photo booth area with your own props, but let people just use their phones. That's absolutely
and props,
fine.
Just go and raid a jumble sale or a car boot sale. It's,
totally.
Or actually, if you were to go up into my loft, just come around mine. I'll give you anything for that. And then, of course, there's things that quite often are expensive. The hiring of a donut wall or a crisp wall or all of these things. Actually, with a little bit of ingenuity and somebody who knows is a bit crafty, you can make these things yourselves.
You can. The time is something to consider, but you can totally make them yourselves.
Yeah.
And I think you can do little scavenger hunts. You can do little quizzes, or what we did. I think you did too, didn't you? Like the Silly Olympics. Yeah, we both did that at our wedding. So getting people involved, getting them to play a game.
I've done a tug of war before now.
Yes,
and
I've done a couple
huge
of tug
fun.
of war. Is hilarious. The photos are so good from a tug of war. We did a paper aeroplane competition. So
I'm really bad at those. I wouldn't have anything to do with that.
But everyone did it. Everyone made their airplane, then we made them all line up and do it. And the photos of that are really good. Yeah. So there are lots of ways.
And another way, we've talked about your guests sort of doing something as a surprise for you, but you can turn the tables and as a couple, create a little video that sort of is played at some point during the service or afterwards during dinner or whatever, of you as a couple talking directly to your guests.
If you've had, I had a couple that just got married in January and they had a family shoot with their photographer previous to their wedding, and it was the same photographer, and they just did a slideshow of their family photo shoot at the wedding, just so that everyone could see. They had a new baby, they wanted to show off, show that everyone the photo. So they just did that.
Just
and
a
that was
sort of
lovely.
photographic, this is our life kind of thing. And that's gorgeous. And one other thing I'm going to touch on, it's not for your wedding, but it does seem to be rising in popularity. I've heard several of my brides have gone for this. Not something for me, have to say. But pre-wedding boudoir shoots. I know it's not for everyone, and it is strictly for your loved one's eyes only. But I think this is a sort of speciality supplier, but they're definitely growing in popularity.
So I'm not sure what a boudoir photo shoot...
Clue in the title, Keshira, clue in the title.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you go and see a photographer.
You take your kit off.
Mostly, I believe, yes, or artfully done, I think is the way they put it.
I guess that's quite what's the word? So, makes you feel good, hopefully.
Empowering?
That's the word, thank you. Is that male and female?
I guess so, why not? But
wow.
I think if it's something you fancy, I think there are specialist photographers who just sort of specialise in that exclusively. Or I guess ask your wedding photographer if they're up for a little sort of, cheeky shoot beforehand.
I've definitely seen things similar, but I don't think I'd known anyone do it. But maybe they just haven't told me, because why would they?
I think the lo and behold, not another wedding fair that we were at later last year, there was a lady there who specialised.
Well, there we go. So hopefully we've given you some ideas of things that are in addition to your day, things that add value for your guests, for you. Some of them are a bit spenny, and some are really budget friendly. So hopefully we've given you help. I'm still into the tattoo idea, but, without a tattoo.
I'll treat you to one, love.
So, as per every episode, we have our top 3 tips. And this episode, we have a lovely tip from Mark Flynn, the magician.
Hello, my name's Mark, and if I'm going to be giving anyone who's looking to book a magician a top tip for your wedding, it will be this. Ask the magician what type of magic they can provide for your wedding. So I mean by that is some magicians just do close-up magic, which is walking from table to table and group to group, which is great. But there's some magicians who also offer that and a larger stage performance. So if you have a stage set up, why not get the magician on there to do one big show that entertains everybody as well as doing some close-up? Some magicians offer that, so it's always worth an ask. If you're wanting to follow me on social media, my handle is Mark Flynn Magician on Instagram.
Thank you, Mark. And now our DIY tip. So, table tasks. We've touched on this briefly, but I think if you're looking for entertainment ideas, just think about putting something on every single table, a task for everyone to complete during the wedding breakfast that doesn't require too much thinking. Could be a bunch of wedding anagrams to solve, or a challenge to build something out of Lego, or a photo quiz of famous couples, something that gets the whole table engaging with each other.
Yeah, one of my couples this year did Taskmaster. So, and actually it looked hilarious on their table. So their table plan was wine bottles with the names on, but it had the name of, like, Taskmaster episode names are hilarious and really random. It had those, and then each table had an envelope with a sealed Taskmaster stamp, and they all did different things, and it was really fun. So,
and again, really budget friendly to do.
Super budget friendly. And then sustainability wise, balloon releases and
don't get me started.
those fire lantern things.
Hate them.
Now, most places won't allow you to do, especially the fire, I don't know what, I'm trying to think what they're called.
Magic lanterns.
Yes, those. Because actually they're just really dangerous. They're really not good for the environment. They're not good for the animals nearby. They're not good to send just fire and then it falls down in the beautiful fields in your venue. So
and the same for plastic balloons that you send off and you think, oh, that looks lovely and it's a moment of great symbolism. No, it isn't. Actually, it's just really damaging to the environment. You'll pay a lot of money to let go a bit of plastic that's going to go up in the air, come down into a field or into the countryside and either be litter or worse, is going to choke an animal. Just don't do it.
I think it's fair to say we're not fans.
We're not. Go and do something else.
So there's our top tips for this episode. And next episode, so we will be doing a bit of a South Coast special.
Yeah.
So, tune in next time to hear about that. Where to find us? We are the Wildly Wed Pod. I'm Keshira.
And I'm Vicky.
And you can find us online on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So rate, review, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things. At Wildly Wed Pod on Instagram too. Thanks for listening.
Cheery bye.
Say I do to the Wildly Wed podcast. Follow us on Insta at Wildly Wed Pod.